Hello, family. Welcome to Unkhudi Accounting Academy. So, in this lesson, we'll be focusing more on the application of companies. Specifically, we'll be focusing on the ordinary share capital node. So, for now, I will be going through some two definitions which I missed to explain on those previous videos before we can get into a question which we have been all waiting for. Okay, so this is the thing which I felt like to include it in my slides. It will be very much imperative and very much important because these ways they tend to come in the question paper. So understanding the definition behind them will make us to ace those questions. So what is buying back of shares or repurchase of shares? Definition is when a company buys its own shares, issued shares back from existing shareholders. So when they say a company buys back its own shares, is when it buys shares, the shares which is has previously issued to to the shareholders and repurchase them. So when you hear the word buying back of shares or repurchase of shares, just know is when the company buys its own shares from the people who it previously sold to, existing shareholders. So these are two reasons which I felt like I just love these reasons why do company buy back shares. The first reason is that they reduce the number of shares in the market. Sometimes we decide to buy back shares because we want to reduce the number of the shares which are in public. When they say they're in the market, it means they are issued to the public. So second reason is to take back control by reducing outside ownership. Remember, if you have issued more shares, it means there will be more shareholders. When there's more shareholders, it means many people will own the company. When we are many and we are owning the company, it is not easy to make decisions with regarding to controlling the company because there's many opinions. There's many people who are giving opinions which they delay the decision making. Please note these definitions. So the first one is buying back of shares. So now I'm going to the second weight or the second definition which I felt like to include it in my slide. It will help us to understand the questions and understand the company's introduction very well. So the second one is an auditor. An auditor is an independent professional who examines a company's financial statement to check whether they are accurate, complete, and prepared according to the required accounting standards and law. The auditor's job is to verify financial information, check that the internal controls are working, detect errors, irregularities, and give an opinion stating whether the financial statements are true and fair reflection of the company's financial position. So, auditor is just an independent professional person or a company which examines if we are recording things where we are following all the procedures and standards, we did not make mistake and detect the errors, because sometimes it's like a marker of our financial statements, because it is not easy. Even if they can be give you a memo and they say mark yourself, it's not easy. But when someone marks you, who is independent, neutral, it's easy for that person. But if it's me marking myself, it's not easy to detect which errors did I make, whereas I was the one who was writing. So this is the same principle which happens even to companies, that people who prepare the people who prepare the financial statement, they need to be checked by the auditors. Auditors are independent professional. They examine the company's financial statement. They check if they are prepared in accordance. They check if everything it went well, and after they give us opinion. That opinion is very much imperative. You will learn it. You will learn more about the opinion of an auditor, because there is adverse there's different types of opinions. So I will explain them in next chapters, but the where we'll be learning more about different types of opinion, which are good, bad, better, those kind of things. But I will give you their specific term with accounting form in the accounting one. So because as for us, we have our accounting jargon. We don't just call things. We call things in our own way so that we can so that we can, when we speak, ordinary people cannot hear us. So no problem. So now we are going to the question paper. So yeah, we are going to read one question paper which is with relation to companies, share capital, ordinary share capital. No. So I just felt that it is very much, it will be very much beneficial if we just treat this uh, question paper and start with this question one. So this question paper, I got it from stanmorephysics.com. It is Limpopo March 2025 paper. So just go and check it. Just go and check it. As I was saying, just go and check it, because it's one of the question paper which it covers the basics of companies very well. So yeah, so today I will be giving you a strategies of what should you do when you just see a question paper. So the first thing that you have to check is to read. This is, they say question one, company's financial statements. Okay, they say choose an explanatory from column B that matches a concept in column A. Write only the letter next to the question. They don't say write. Please guys, follow the instruction. When they say write only the letter, write only the letter. Don't try to be impressive to the marker or anyone. Just do what they require you to do and move on, because accounting paper, its time is very much limited. So you have to be efficient in the way you use your time. So they say, what is a shareholder? So, okay, the way I see them, a shareholder, let me just check. A shareholder, a shareholder, let me check, okay. Ensure that the company complies with the tax requirements, okay. Make strategic and operational decisions, no. Shareholders' private assets cannot be claimed for paying company's debts, no. Entitled to the to a share in profits of company. Remember, shareholders, they are entitled to share of dividend of share in the profits of the company, which they are sometimes called the dividends. So remember, shareholders are the one who gets shares in profits which are being declared by the directors. So meaning 1.1 answers would be D. So 1.1 answer, it will be D. No problem. So now we are going to 1.2. 1.2, limited liability. Remember, when I on that first video I explained what is a limited liability mean. It means that the company's liabilities cannot be paid by the shareholders. It means they separate between the liabilities of the company and the liabilities of the shareholders. And you cannot use the shareholders' assets to pay the liabilities of the company. You cannot seize the shareholders' asset to pay in order to compensate for the liabilities of the company. So no problem. So I think the one which is very much correct is Shareholders' private assets cannot be claimed for paying the company's debt, which is C. Which is C. Okay, no problem. So now we are going to directors. Directors are the people who make strategic and operational decisions for the company. Those guys are called the director, which is it is B. Answer is B here. Okay, now answer is B. Ne? So now we are going to auditor. I just explain what is an auditor. Auditor. An auditor is express an opinion on the fair presentation of the financial statement at the end of the financial year. So here the answer is E. Guys, this thing is those easy marks which you have to just make sure that you grab them. This 4 marks is easy one. Please make sure that, guys, you don't maze when it comes to multiple choice questions or mesh questions. Please make sure that, guys, you get full marks when it comes to those ones. No problem. So now we are going to 1.2. They say 224 LTD. The information relates to 24 LTD for the year ended on the 28th February 2025. So guys, the thing which I will advise you every time when you are being handed a question paper in account, to go to the required, check what is the required. They say they required complete the following for the year ended 2020, 28 February 2025. Notes to the financial statements of ordinary share capital note. So now we are required to prepare the ordinary share capital note. So this is an information that we have to use when we prepare this ordinary share capital note. So I only took that information which will be important, because I extracted from the question paper, extracted the useful information for this question only. So this is an ordinary authorized share capital. Remember, authorized share capital is the maximum number of shares which a company is allowed to issue. It cannot issue more than this amount, this number of ordinary shares, 1,800,000 ordinary shares. No problem. So now we are going to, here is our answer sheet. So in the answer sheet, they gave us this. This is the format of ordinary share capital note. So here in this column, we record the movement of number of shares. Here, number of shares. So here we record the details around this, around, when I mean detail, we just record the information which gets us which amount is this. So now on this part we record the amount, we record only the amount, this part. So the thing which you have to understand is that here is the opening balance for ordinary share capitals. Here is the closing balance. So here, if you can check, remember, if the year ended on 28 February, it means it started on the 1st of March 2024. I use that concept of next month, last year, next month, next year. So that is the thing which I use to determine my beginning of the year. So if we are given things in this way, the next month of February is March last year 2024. So the opening balance is 1st March last year, which is 2024. That is the concept which I just use in order to recall um, how to determine the beginning of the financial period. Because remember, guys, date is very much important when it comes to accounting, guys. Date. So we record things accordingly in this node. We record them in sequential order, but just because they give us things here, it doesn't mean they were following the sequential order of dates. So always make sure that you will see the date if they are in order, because don't assume that the way they arranged the information, it was arranged in its date order. Always confirm by checking the date if does it goes in a sequential order. So we record, even in this node, we record things in sequential order. So yeah, that is what you need to know about the node for ordinary share capital node. No problem. So the first thing that you have to understand is that they say on the first, which is at the beginning of the year, 2/3, which is 2/3 of the shares were in issue. When they say 2/3, they means 2/3 of the authorized share capital. They mean 2/3 of the share authorized share capital, meaning they mean 2/3 shares of these shares. It means they mean 2/3 of these shares. They mean 2/3 of this authorized share capital. So in order for us to calculate the amount of shares which has been issued at the beginning, we are going to go to no open this is the workings which I have done in order for us to understand this thing. So these are the workings which I done. Remember, the authorized share capital is the authorized share capital is 1,800,000. So you say you take 1,800,000 and multiply it by 2/3, which will give you 1,200,000. So this is the shares which has been issued at the beginning of the year. So guys, please note these things. I already recorded them now. So you're just going to take those two 1,200,000, 1,200,000 and put it here as number of shares. So in the trial balance, they gave us the ordinary share capital at the beginning. So this is the trial balance information. Ordinary share capital at the beginning. Remember, when they refer to 2024, they just mean at the beginning of the year. So the ordinary share capital of the beginning amount, this is the amount in this trial balance. They only put on the amount, they don't put the number of shares. So this means is the 8,800,000 is the number of is the amount of shares at the beginning. So we are going to record it here at the beginning like this. So this is the amount, it is in rands, amount of the ordinary share capital at the beginning. So okay, we meaning this one we already solved it. So no, let's go to another one. So they say on the 1st of June 2024, 180 shares were repurchased. Guys, remember in this node we record the movement of shares. So when we repurchase, meaning we are paying. When we pay, it means that the money is going out of our company, meaning we are reducing the shares. So they say these shares, they were shares of 180 shares were repurchased at they were repurchased at 101.4 above the average price. Guys, please listen to me very carefully. This is the part which tend to confuse people when it comes to this node. When we record the ordinary share, when we record the amount of the repurchase of shares, we don't use the price. We have to calculate, or we have to use the average share price. Average share price. So how do we calculate the average share price? You're going to take the amount before, you're going to add all the amounts before the issue, before the repurchase of shares amount, and divide it by the number of shares. Meaning when I want to calculate the average share price, I'm going to take the amount at the beginning for this one. I'm going to take the amount at the beginning and divide it by the number of shares which has been issued at the beginning. It will give me the average share price. So this is what I did to calculate the average share price. You take the you take 8,400,000 and divide it by the number of shares at the beginning, which is 1,200,000. The answer will give us 7 rand. Please guys, always make sure that you write this rand R, or if you are, just write the currency, because it is very much important. If you don't write this R, you'll be penalized mark. If you don't write this mark, this R, or this currency, always don't forget to write R. This R shows that this is not, it is a currency, it is a rand. It is the number, it is average share price. In ordinary share capital node, we use average share price to calculate the repurchased shares. I hope guys you understood this thing. To calculate the repurchased shares, we use the average share price, or bought back shares, we use average share price. So no problem. So this one is the number of shares which has been, always guys, remember to put them in bracket. Remember, brackets, it means, in accounting, brackets means negative or minus or subtraction. So always when you record the transaction or this part for shares, always remember to put them in brackets, the number of shares and also the amount of it, put it in bracket. So since is 7 rand average share price, so here is the calculation behind it. So share price, repurchase of shares, you are going to take 180,000 shares, which I took them from here. They are the one which has been repurchased, and multiply it the by the average share price, which is 7 rand. So when you take 180,000 and multiply it by R7, which is 1 rand or 7 rand, it will give you an answer of it will give you an answer of 1,260,000. Guys, please make sure that, like, you don't make mistake. This is the part which it tend to confuse most of the students. It tend to cripple most of the students. So don't be those students. My students, they don't fall into the trap. We don't the examiner don't catch us. We always catch the examiner. That is our rule. We catch the examiner. We can't be triggered by examiner. We always catch the examiners as the students or the learners of Ngudi Accounting Academy. Okay, so we, meaning this one, even this one is also done and dusted. Even this one is also done and dusted. So now we are going to this one. So this one, it is, remember, here we are preparing ordinary share capital. We are only dealing with information which is related to the shares. So here they are talking about interim dividends. So meaning this information won't be relevant for this question. This information we're going to skip it. So now we are going to this information of additional shares were issued on the 1st of November 2024. So it is very much imperative for us to take this in account. This transaction is going to affect, this one is going to affect our ordinary share capital node. So no problem. So now we are going to record it here. Remember, what I love about the accounting of high school is that they give you a note, or they give you answer sheet, and the answer sheet sometimes can be a guidance, because by only, as we are only left with this one column, it shows that there's only one thing that we have to deal with. So guys, if we are having these things, this is the thing which you have to just use. This is just a mental math. If you have a total and you are in short of one amount, you're just going to calculate the balancing figure. When you calculate the balancing figure, when you go up, remember you change the signs. So you're going to take one, in order to find this value here, you're going to take 1,250,000 plus it. Again, remember, when you go up, you change the sign. You, instead of minus, you're going to plus it with 180,000 and minus it with 1,200,000. So when you do those calculations, you punch those things on the calculator, they will give you an answer of they will give you an answer of 280,000. So that is how they work. So this thing is the balancing figures. So the way, this is just a mental math, guys. These calculations are very, very easy. So even same principle to this one. If you want this figure here, which is blank, you're going to take this amount and change signs as you go up. It will give you the answer here. You're going to take 8,377,500 plus it with 1,260,000 and minus it with 8,400,000. It will give you an answer of it will give you an answer of 1,237,500. So guys, this was the video for the application of ordinary share capital note. I hope you understood it very well. So means now you got all your 7 marks. Now you got all those 7 marks, then you move on with your question. So guys, these things are easy. If I'm still going to create another videos where I will be explaining these things, another concept, another more videos with our relations to ordinary share capital and note, so that they can be instilled in our minds, because they tend to say practice makes us perfect. So guys, let's keep practicing. Let's make accounting fun. Let's meet in another video. Cheers. Please subscribe, like the video. If you have confusion, feel free to ask on the comment section. Cheers.